And here we go. Welcome, everybody, to Dr. Fantastic Interviews. I'm sitting on a beautiful yacht in Marina del Rey, and I've got the lovely Olivia Parr-Rud or Rudd?
It's Rud, like good.
Rud. It's really Rud. It's really good.
Rud.
Now, just so you know, the word good is not in my vocabulary. I don't like the word. I encourage people never to use it because I think it's a four-letter word. So, Olivia, how are you today?
I am fantastic.
I love it. That's the right answer. That you just extended your life by 5 minutes. Did you know that?
Ding, ding, ding.
Did you know that?
That's great.
Well,
great.
a lot of people don't know that every time you smile or laugh, it reduces your stress. And they say, I don't say it, they say, I don't know who they are, but they say that it extends your life by 5 minutes. Have you ever met them, by the way? Where are they, those people?
Yeah.
You know this? You know what I'm talking about?
I have my theory, but I don't know exactly. I would say it's probably people in the longevity movement.
Anyway, they say you live 5 minutes longer, and I'm going to take that to the bank. Now, my wife thinks I'm totally crazy for trying to make the world a better place with my movement, the Be Fantastic movement. And I'm going to take, what's his name? The guy who did Apple. He said, no. The guy who did Apple. I can't even think of the name right now.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Thank you, Olivia. Steve Jobs once said that people who are crazy enough to think they can make a difference in the world are the ones that make the difference. And with your help, Olivia, we're going to try to make the world fantastic. And when people are fantastic, they let you in traffic. They open doors for you. They say please and thank you. They're polite and kind and considerate and friendly and civil. And they love, right? Because love is your business, and you think everyone should make it their business, right?
That's right. Can I comment on the crazy?
Sure, of course.
So when I often get called crazy, and my response is, thanks to Billy Joel, you may be right, I may be crazy, and it just may be a lunatic you're looking for.
I'll have to try to remember that one. That's a good one. I've only got so many memory cells left, but I'll work on that one. But I have...
If you are fantastic, does it preserve memory cells, or does your body just live 5 minutes longer?
Your body lives 5 minutes longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to do something for the brain.
Yeah. Well, what it is I've got to stop saying I don't have a good memory, because that's negative, and I try to avoid negativity as like the plague. But
that's right.
I've got to start telling myself I have a fantastic memory, and see how that works.
You do. That's right. Yeah.
So you and I met on a beautiful yacht in Southern California, and remind me of that day. What was the event? What was going on that day?
It was kind of an evening gathering around a program that is called Federation 100 with Minu Blackburn and Gaurav Gupta. So it's a kind of a spiritual business program that's based in Mumbai, I think, and then London and LA. So we were gathering for those 2 days, and then often in the evening we're invited to that yacht that's owned by one of the participant partners, I think. And then often Minu will give a little inspirational talk. So that was the gathering.
Great. Well, you didn't get my inspirational talk. Have you heard? You were part of it, I think, that day. Being fantastic.
On the boat.
Yeah, on the boat.
I think I did. Yeah, that was why I wanted to reach out to you. Yeah.
So you're a clinical psychologist, or how does that work? What you do?
No, my background is, believe it or not, is math and statistics. So I'm a data scientist.
Ah. Well, all we have is data, right? All we have is data. We have to put it all together, right?
Yeah. So now I've done research to prove that love actually makes companies more money using data. So my goal is really to try to reach people who are not already champions of conscious business, but people that might be greedy. I can go in and say, well, if you love your people, you'll actually make more money. See if I can help open the heart of these leaders. So that's kind of the...
And does generosity fall into the category of love?
Absolutely, yeah. So I kind of use one of the definitions. I think Wikipedia has several, right? And people know romantic love and other, agape love. This is love that is expressed through compassion and caring. And certainly when we're compassionate, we're generous. So yes, I think it's very much aligned with this.
Now, the reason I asked that question is when I look at corporate America and I look at companies like Google who are feeding their employees, which I'm a big foodie myself, so I've never worked for a company that fed me, but I have worked in show business, and I know that my uncle was a big-time producer, Academy Award winner, and I know one of his mottos was, if you keep feeding your crew, and even if you don't pay them, they'll come back for the next film. And if you feed them well, of course, and I think people, it's really one of my favorite things to do is eat, because I've been doing it my whole life, it seems, almost 3 times a day.
A lot of practice. Right?
A lot of practice. I'm pretty freaking good at it, I tell you. And sometimes I have 5 meals. When I go on a cruise, I have 6 or 7 meals a day. That's even more fun.
Oh, my God. Yeah, those are dangerous.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
It's like, I have to get my money's worth right.
Exactly.
I feel horrible. I feel lousy.
And
I can't eat that much and keep my energy up.
And you don't know me very well, but I've been as poor as anyone you've ever met. We lived in a commune. My parents were beatniks, and we didn't have running water or electricity. And so I think I appreciate food more than anyone else. And raising the kids, I would never let them leave anything on their plate. And, of course, if they did, they had to pass it to Dad, who finished it for them, because I can't see leaving food on a plate. It's like, to me, it's a sin. It's sinful.
Oh, but that does lead sometimes to eating too much. I don't know if there's another good answer. Like they used to say, well, there's people starving in China, we say, all right, just nail it to them. That was years ago. I don't think it's true now, but...
they're starving all over the world.
That's tough.
But I've seen a half a plate of food. A half a plate of food literally will feed a tribe in Africa. I mean, when I see these videos of a child with his 2 fingers picking a speck off a trash can and putting it into his mouth, I mean, that's something that you indelibly etched into your mind and you never forget it. He actually, I remember, this was 50 years ago, it was a commercial for, donate money, and he literally picked a speck off a trash can and put it in his mouth for food. And it's something you just never forget.
Wouldn't it make more sense for us to eat less so that we can get this food to others?
Well, it's such a litigious world. Unfortunately, it's a greedy, selfish, litigious, and wasteful world. And if we just took all the banquets...
I think we should not affirm that. We can say that's a perception, but I choose to think it's a fantastic world.
No, it is a fantastic world. It's a totally fantastic world. But...
I think the consciousness is rising, so I think people are getting... That's diminishing.
Well, as a professor of positivity, I hate to mention anything negative, but I have to slap people in the face and say, if you're driving around any major city in the world, no one's going to let you in. People cut you off. They run you off the road because all they care about is getting to that red light so they can make some money. And that's, to me, the reflection of an overcrowded population. And in a small town, in small cities and small villages, people are not like that, and I've come to realize it's probably due to accountability. In a small town, you're accountable because everyone knows one another. And I'd like to make the example of you going to a dinner party, Olivia, and could you imagine pushing someone at the dinner party aside to get to the dinner table? That is not going to happen because you're accountable. Now, shouldn't we be accountable every day driving on the roads of the world?
So I think I have 2 comments, Rich. One is that the car is an interesting equalizer of powers. I think people who maybe don't feel powerful in their lives, which is probably a lot of people, they feel it in their car, and they are kind of anonymous, so they can maybe take out their aggression. But I also think that there are a lot of people, and maybe more and more now, who do the right thing for the right reasons, that they just want to be polite and they want to be courteous. And I have seen that, even in big cities. I think you're right. I think it's not the dominant mood, but I do think that, there's a lot of stuff driven by the media to make people selfish and irritated, and the long, like you're saying, working long hours it makes people stressed commuting back and forth from work. But I think people there, I wouldn't say everybody is like that. Maybe most people, but not everybody.
Well, my movement, and of course I'm prejudiced because I've seen 1,800 people now adopt it and say that it could work. When you become fantastic and you put out that positive energy and that positive word that means unimaginably good and beautiful, and you tell that to people, it makes them smile. And I'm under the philosophy that if you can make one person smile today, Olivia, you've made the world a better place.
I think that's great. Yeah, I try to do that in the grocery store. I try to say something nice to the person, say how much I appreciate them, or I like something they're wearing, or whatever. Yeah, that's a great. I was thinking, so you're talking about traffic. Do you have a bumper sticker people could purchase, to something like, I think you are fantastic?
Well, I have a bumper sticker. And the reason I created the bumper stickers was one of my 900 interviews on YouTube was a woman from Brazil. And she was telling me about how when she heard my movement, the Be Fantastic movement, she said they have a lot of cars in Sao Paulo that are carrying a bumper sticker on it that says Be Kinder. And that got me, it was exactly what the Be Fantastic movement is, because obviously be kind on the road, And so I created a sticker that says Be Fantastic. And for anyone listening right now, it's free. All you have to do is send me a legal size stamped envelope to 13816 Bora Bora Way, A125 Marina Del Rey 90292. It's in California. And I'll send you the free bumper sticker. It's beautiful. It says Be Fantastic. And it has the logo, which is a bee, which symbolizes pollinating positivity. What do you think about pollinating positivity, Olivia?
I love it. And I think when you were talking about energy, that's the other thing I think that can shift things. I think if we put out positive energy, we're pollinating the energetic field, right? So maybe we can even affect traffic.
Well, the 1,800 people I have being fantastic now are just a small scratch in my goal. Could you imagine driving down a large city and people start letting you in traffic? If my movement does nothing but that, I will die a happy man. Because it gives you an energy when someone lets you in. It makes you feel good. It's a karmic move, obviously. It's a wonderful thing to let someone in traffic.
Wow. You ought to put it out there. So, I've worked in marketing for many years. Put it out there that if you catch somebody doing that, they'll win a prize or something, and then everybody will be trying, even though we don't know.
Well, see, and you just hit it right there. You try to influence people to do good for a brownie button, for a prize. Yeah. I want people, this movement of mine, Olivia, is very near and dear to me, because the governments aren't going to make us be positive and be nice to one another. The companies aren't going to. This has to start within each one of us. And it's called love. Like you're saying, it's called love. Treat strangers with love. Treat humanity with love. And the karma that comes back at you. Now, it's so exciting for me to spend my day telling the young people that I run into how to look at life, how to appreciate it, how to look at the positive nature of everything, and I'm a life coach. I mean, I've guided a lot of people in the right direction, and it's so rewarding to see someone that was crying when I met them and see them smiling and just full of energy after they left me, anywhere from 5 to 50 minutes later. I have the secret to a longer and happier life, Olivia. And all you really need to do to start is to say you're fantastic and mean it and live it. Watch what happens. Now, I walk up to a lot of people in the grocery store and at the market and at the gas station, and I say, how are you? And inevitably, they're going to say, good, and how are you? And you know what I tell them? I say, how would you like to be fantastic? And you should see their eyes light up, Olivia. Their eyes light up like I just gave them the winning lottery number. It's the most amazing thing to watch. And then a lot of times I give them my card, and I walk away. And that's all it's needed for them to think, to start thinking of a different attitude. You know, we all have two things in common on the planet. One is we're going to be asked how we are today. And two is we know that being positive is better than being negative. Those are the two essential ingredients to this movement. Be positive and spread it.
Yeah. Oh, great. You know, I'm in my 60s, and when I was in my early 20s, I took EST, which was...
Right.
You remember
Earhart Seminar Training.
Yeah, in New York City, though. It was only there and San Francisco at the time. And I remember just being so profoundly impacted by how our thoughts really create a reality, and how when we choose what's really available, or we choose what we want to happen, not be victims,
right,
that we can change our reality. And that's what you're doing. It's just so fun to see that.
Well, you know, it's amazing that I remembered what EST means. It's amazing to me. I just impressed myself. But
see, you have good brain cells.
I have a fantastic memory. The point is that I don't have any formal education. Literally, I didn't have any grammar school. I struggled through junior and senior high schools. I went to 1 week of college. And then I hitchhiked around the world for my education. And all the knowledge I have now is just from meeting people and working in 80 different professions. And it's amazing how many things I have inherently just talk about that I feel are important, like taking your shoes and socks off and walking on grass. I think that grounds you to the earth.
Yeah.
And first off, it's a wonderful feeling. I mean, I used to run around naked in the commune I lived in. That's even more. That's even better than walking barefoot. Walking naked is a great thing. Of course, we don't do that anymore. But actually, I think there's still nudist colonies out there. You got to admit, I'll bet you most people in a nudist colony are mentally healthy. Because I bet they're happy.
Right.
Yeah. I'll make a wager on that one. But I am on a mission, and I want you to join it, Olivia. I don't know if you joined the YouTube channel yet, but as of today, you did. What number did you join in at? Do you remember?
No.
I try to tell people to remember that number because I think it's going to be important, because right now, as of today, there's 1,810 subscribers. There's 400 on Instagram, but my goal is not to 1,800 or 18,000, but at least 18 million. Imagine 18 million people letting people in when they drive, or opening doors for people, or saying please and thank you like their mother taught them. It's going to change the dynamic of the energy that surrounds you.
Well, you know what it feels like to me, because one of the reasons I got into writing about love and business was because I was thrown into the corporate world after being kind of an earth mom for 20 years, and I couldn't believe the harshness of the culture. It was just all fear-based. And so what I had to do to just calm myself was go into my heart space. And that was difficult for me because I was a left-brain, statistician. But I made myself do it. And what I noticed was, after a while, it affected other people. And people now remember me from 20 years ago that they said, I don't remember anybody else I worked with, but you had a profound effect on me. And I wasn't saying anything. I was just being in my heart, in conversations, and trying to connect with other people that way. And I think that's really what we're doing. When we go into our heart space, it's hard to cut somebody off or be mean. I just think we can come from that energy, and all kinds of good things will happen. All kinds of fantastic things will happen.
Well, I'm going to ask you something that I ask everybody I give my talk to. I want to ask you something, Olivia. How many people in your life have you met that say they're fantastic, not like you think they are, like your kids or your loved ones. How many people have you ever met in your life? You walked up to and said, "How are you?" and they actually said that they are fantastic.
Well, I'm sorry about the noise here.
It's okay.
Somebody in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
So that's a really good question. I think. Wow, sorry about that. Well, you can tell this is a real life interview. I can only think of one person really that does that.
Okay, so
and that's
go ahead.
Yeah.
Who? And you'll never forget that person. The point I'm trying to make here is if you've ever met someone in your life that says they're fantastic, you will never forget them. Never. And I've asked this question 3,000 times, and you are now the 91st person to ever know someone that was fantastic out of over 3,000 people. And that to me is a very, very, very sad number. And then, I didn't do it with you, but I guarantee you, had I asked you how many out of 3,000 you think have said they met someone, and 99% say 10 or less. 80% say 0 because they never met someone. So they just not naturally think no one ever says it. But there are, of the 3,000 plus people I've talked to, you become the 91st person to ever have met someone in your life that says they're fantastic. Now, there are people that don't believe people who say that, and those are narcissists probably, or just people that aren't happy, because why would you doubt someone that says they're fantastic? Why would you even consider doubting someone? That's a truly negative trait.
Yeah, I think it's this thing where misery loves company, and some people don't want other people to be great or happy or fantastic because then it makes them feel like there's something wrong, which there probably is, but it's not the other person's fault.
So I don't know if you watched my testimonial YouTube video, but I have got about 15 minutes of people giving me 10-second testimonials on my movement.
Oh, I did watch that.
Now, you remember the first 18 seconds, the first one that's on that tape, where he says that I'm onto something and it's going to change the world? Remember that one?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
To me, that's the most beautiful 18 seconds of unscripted, emotional. The guy said it in one take. It was his own words, his own thoughts. He had just met me. We spent a half hour together. Now, when I put that out there, somebody put a thumbs down on it. And I was so upset. I was just so hurt. And I started thinking, why would someone put a thumbs down on that statement, which is probably my favorite statement of all the interviews and all the people I've talked to, because he hit the nail on the button, on the head. This is a movement that can change the world and make it a better place. So then I started realizing that there's people called trollers that look at everything on the internet in a negative manner, and no matter how positive or how beautiful it is, they're going to shit on it. Okay, excuse my language. And then I just realized, I watched it recently, and the thumb down is gone. I don't know if they couldn't sleep at night. It's gone. I guess they took it back.
They cleaned it up.
Isn't that funny?
That is. I think they're trying to clean up the trollers.
Well, I have 900 interviews on YouTube, and that's the first thumbs down I've ever seen.
Wow. Well, yeah, I believe you. I mean, it's just wonderful. Fantastic.
Well, I couldn't be any happier to do what I'm doing now. John Paul, who's part owner on the yacht that you're on, his saying is, a success unshared is failure. And this man is worth $10 billion. He's down to earth as the day is long. He's a wonderful human being. He feeds like 50,000 people in Africa. He's got 300 companies, and he doesn't take an email. He's a pretty amazing guy.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
I'm proud to say I'm his captain.
Like that own 300 companies and are good people.
Yeah, no, there's not. Because money is the root of all evil. And, I interviewed a lot of people, and I've asked a lot of people what would make them happy. Because, I'm all about trying to make people happy. And unfortunately, 90% of the people will answer to win the lottery or make or be rich. And unfortunately, they're completely wrong. Because that's the majority of people who've ever won the lottery regretted it, and I know a lot of rich and famous people, and it is something you don't want to wish on your worst enemy, fame or fortune. It's really tough to handle.
Yeah, I don't know that I wouldn't agree that it ruins everybody, but I do think if you're not solid in who you are and have a vision for your life that's outside of money, then I think money could really throw you off.
Yeah.
And I see it as energy, and right now it's got a very strong kind of weight in our culture that's really out of balance. So I'm hoping that's going to be corrected soon.
Well, we could do. I think we could help it. There's ways that you and I and the people listening can correct it. I think, but we have to want to.
Yeah.
We first have to want to. And a journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step.
Yeah, that's true.
And these conversations that I have with people like yourself, if people were to listen to them, I think they could learn and they can grow and they could expand their mind a little bit. Because unfortunately, we're geared to work the 8 to 5, go home, watch TV, and repeat the next day. And so you're not opening up yourself to anything new or any kind of, because there's so much out there, but there's very little time to try to even absorb it. Oop. We just lost our girl. Let me see if I can call her back. Hold on one second here. Recents. Okay, where is it? Let's see here. She's not in recent calls. Oh, here she goes. Did you push the wrong button?
I didn't touch anything. I have no idea what happened. That is so weird.
It looked like
not recording.
It looked like it cut off at 30 minutes, but no, we've been talking for 26. Huh, that was weird. Anyway, you're back. Thank you for calling back in. And we're live on Sprecher Studio.
Great.
And we're having fun. I'm having fun. I'm hoping you're having fun.
Me too. Yeah. And what were you saying? Because I had a thought about that, and I lost it with the drop. What we're talking about?
What wasn't I saying?
I know what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say. I think people may be listening to us and think, oh, well, you guys probably just had an easy life, and, I've had it rough, so my life can never be fantastic. And actually, what I write about, I've published a few books, but the one I wrote last, I'll Love at Work, I talk about how love could help the world through business. But I also get into my personal story, and I had so many tragedies, lost my parents very young. I was almost died in a car accident when I was 19. Like all these, what I call cosmic 2x4s. And now I know my purpose, and I see where everything was really strategic in me getting where I am. So anybody that thinks that because they had a couple hard knocks in life is not going to be able to be fantastic, I would challenge them. Look at what you have, be grateful for what you have, and choose to be fantastic.
And that's exactly 100% right on, because it's choosing to be fantastic. Most people choose to fail and to be miserable because it's a lot easier. Now, I'll guarantee you I had a rougher child than you. I went through 3 sets of deadbeat parents, from a father abandoning the family at 2, to both my parents dying when I was 11, to being put in a foster home that was, I called myself Cinderfella. I had to pick crumbs off the floor and massage my dad's feet and do all kind of humiliating things for 7 years, and with no love or guidance through all 3 sets of parents. Yet I was. That's what makes you, though. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And everything that happened in your past, negative, whatever happened, it built you who you are today. And you have to accept that and forget about the past.
I think before we are born, this is my belief system, that we actually choose these experiences. And now that I know my past, and it sounds like you do as well for you, I'm really holding myself accountable to give back and be of service, because I know if I don't, I might have to come back and go through it again.
But there is that part of it, I like to believe in karma. I do some things that most people, they need to do something. You mentioned earlier, for reward. But they don't realize that the reward comes back in very mysterious ways. In a way, it's called karma. And I did one interview with a girl, one of my 900 interviews, and she said karma comes back threefold. Now, I thought it was onefold. You do one good thing, it comes back once. But she says if good karma comes back threefold, and bad karma comes back threefold. That was her opinion.
Wow.
That was interesting to hear. But I do know that it's called the game of life, and it's a lot of fun, and you can win at the game if you're a good person. You don't have to steal. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to do all those rotten things that people do to try to win in the game of life. You don't have to do those things.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's not the past that matters. It's not the future that matters. It's this conversation you and I are having today, because, the many philosophers have said, live every day as though it's your last, because one day it will be. And
that's right.
And I wanted to get back to another point you said about thinking, about perception. If you think you're a happy, beautiful, successful person, well, you are. And if you think you're an ugly, unhappy failure in life, you are. And if you think you could write a book and you could think you could do this or that, you can. And if you think you can't, then you can't. It's all up to you. No one makes your movie but you. You're the star of your movie. You're the director of your movie, the producer, and the screenwriter of your movie, the Olivia movie. And you need to write every scene like the one we had today together as being fun, informative, and educational, motivational, all those things that you want to see in a good movie. I love movies. And I don't want to see a movie where a guy's sleeping for like 5 minutes in the movie. Right?
Right.
So we just experienced, in the last half hour, 31 minutes, some good conversation. We talked about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, right? And we lived a good scene. And if it will forever be that scene, right? We can't change it. We can't change what happened in the last 30 minutes. We were positive about everything. We talked a little negativity, which I hate to do, but I just need to slap people in the face and say, listen, there are greedy people out there and selfish. Drive on the road and you'll see it. Just drive out in traffic and you'll see what's reflective of the society, because and it's not your fault necessarily, but it is the fault of an overcrowded city. Now, you know why people are upset in traffic, Olivia? What would you say the reason is? Tell me what your thinking is on that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of people are commuting to or from jobs that they hate, or they feel suppressed in their life, so their car gives them a sense of power and they want to feel powerful, so they use it in negative ways.
Okay, well, my answer to why people are upset in traffic is because they're late. And they're late. The traffic's not making them late. They didn't leave with enough time. They don't do their time management. Get there an hour early. There's a saying in business. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you should be fired. It's unacceptable. I'm a half hour early to work and an hour early to parties. Drives my wife crazy.
I think it's great, though. I used to cut it close when I would fly places, and then I had a really dear mother-in-law who said, why do you put yourself all that stress? Just get there early and take something to do. And I thought,
bless her heart.
So much sense. So I do.
You do, then. Good. Because if everyone did that, then there wouldn't be traffic jams, because they would be taking their time. You ever see a traffic where you're going 70 miles an hour just because it was so slow at 5 miles an hour, and then you're going 5 miles an hour again. Then you're going 70, then you're going 5. If you were to drive 15, you would be flowing the whole time there. Or how about the guy that speeds up to red lights? And you don't get to your destination any sooner by getting to the red light quicker. But
you just wear out your brakes fast.
Your brakes, you're spending money on gas, you're polluting the environment, and you're an idiot, And because I'm a limo driver as well. There's a couple rules. When you're driving a yacht, slow as pro. When you're driving a limo, slow as pro. Watch next time you're driving your car, Olivia, and take your foot off the accelerator and watch how far it glides. Oh my goodness. They're the greatest gliding machines. I've figured out I can get 20% more gas mileage by gliding a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Always glide downhill. Glide to red lights.
Out of gear?
I'm sorry. No. Just in drive.
Okay.
Watch what happens. It's amazing. And then what I found out also is if I'm in traffic and I hit the gas hard for like 10 seconds and then take it all the way off, I built up the speed and I glide more. And even though I hit the gas hard, it still gets better gas mileage. Because when I'm gliding in my car, I'm getting 80 miles per gallon when I glide. And when I've got the accelerator on, I'm getting 30 to 40. When I'm going on the freeway. But if I hit it up, and it's amazing. But, it takes work to do that in concentration. But gliding is the most amazing thing. And I tell people, when you see a red light, take your foot off the accelerator.
Yeah.
And glide to it. But what will happen, though, people will honk at you because there's a space in front of you that they need to be in. And that 2 seconds is really important to them. That 2 seconds, I've seen people race around me against oncoming traffic to get around me because I'm gliding and there's some space in front of me. And literally, this is true, they're risking their life in an accident. They're risking a ticket. They're risking an accident to gain 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds. It does
not make any sense.
It doesn't make, and that's what humans don't make much sense. I swear to God. But I'm on a mission, Olivia. I want you to help me. We can correct it if everyone starts being positive, pollinating positivity. And by the way, tell your husband he looks fantastic tonight. Tell your kids they look fantastic.
I'm widowed, but
oh, you're widowed. Oh, okay.
But I'll do it in the cosmos.
Now, so you're a single person?
I am.
Are you dating?
Not yet. I'd like to. But
okay. I've got some great advice for you, Olivia. Okay. When you meet a gentleman at a dinner party or at an event and he says, "How are you?" for the first time, he wants, in a relationship, as you do, someone who's confident and someone who's funny. The first two most important, and I don't think you can argue with me on that. Looks and money and all those other things are icing on the cake. And I always say if you're short, fat, and ugly, but if you're confident and funny, like Danny DeVito, you're going to find a mate, as he did. So, Olivia, the next guy that looks in your eyes and says, "How are you?" Because you can't make a first impression a second time, okay?
Yeah.
You're gonna look in his eyes and with passion, with conviction, and with a lot of emotion, look in his eyes and say, "I am fan-fucking-tastic." It gets a laugh every time. It's not a cuss word. It's not a cuss word because it's in the middle of the word. It's an adjective, and it's fun to say. Say it, Olivia. Let me hear you say it.
I am fan-fucking-tastic.
Does that feel great or what?
It does.
People who are fan-fucking-tastic are the most positive people on the planet, and you can't wrong them for anything because they didn't say a bad word, and they're positive. I mean, you can't wrong someone for being that positive about themselves. And that's what it is. It's self-love. If you can't love yourself, who the hell do you expect will love you?
Exactly. Yeah, that's really true. I spent most of my life figuring that out.
Well, my sister, who's been a psychologist her whole life, who's been going to psychologists her whole life, and she's starting to listen to some of my advice, but it's almost like, how the hell could I listen to my brother, who didn't go to any school, but he's got the answers? It's like she doesn't want to know I got the right answer,
Oh, I think traveling and just learning through meeting people and seeing places is much better than college, and you don't get any debt afterwards.
Well, you're looking at a guy who graduated summa cum laude by doing that.
That's great.
Yeah, I couldn't be any happier. I say one of my sayings and my philosophies is life is a series of left and right turns. You're going to be turning left and turning right, which is a decision that you make. And one of my big left turns was travel around the world for my education instead of going to college. So, but every single day, you're going to make a decision to go left or go right. My theory is when you totally believe that the turn you made, which is a decision, was correct, because you didn't make the other one anyway, so why even think about it? But when you totally believe that turn was correct, you're going to get confidence in your decision making. With that confidence, you're going to get success in life, and in theory, within that success in life, you're going to be happy because you're making the right decisions, you're turning the right way, and everything. all the turns we made today, and yesterday and last week and the year before, got us to meet today on this radio show, or this podcast rather. I do a radio show as well once a month on healthylife.net. It's pretty neat internet radio show. But we made a lot of left and right turns. We were supposed to speak earlier, and we didn't, but it all happens when it's supposed to happen. And you asked me earlier, how long is this going to be? And I said, I have no clue. We've been talking for 39 minutes. Does it feel like 39 minutes?
No, it doesn't.
No, because
really fun.
And that's life. If you enjoy life, it goes by very quickly. And I'm 65 years old, and I couldn't be any happier with all the bad or good things that happened, because it all made it what it is today. You know, the worst. You know, I mean, I look at the bad as being good. I was orphaned at 11 years old. I mean, come on, I don't have to give Christmas presents to my parents all those years.
There's the good news, and you don't have to take care of them now.
That's the really big thing. Oh man, when I see people that do have parents and I see them fighting, I'm just in appall and disgust that how lucky they are to have a parent. And of course, how much work it is, of course, because they wiped your butt when you were a little baby, and then when it turns around the other way, when they get to be 100, you're wiping their butt. You know, and they're in diapers, of course, and they're being wheeled around in a wheelchair. But it just totally turns around. But they gave you love. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I think it was a wonderful conversation. Let's do it again.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Believe me, it's my pleasure, and I want to tell everyone listening to love one another. It's all you need is love. I love the Beatles. All you need is love. La da 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 da. All you need is love. Love is all you need. What a beautiful song. Hey, did you see the movie yesterday?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh, Olivia, run out to rent that movie however you can. They took all the Beatles songs and made it into this most amazing movie.
I will.
And also you want to watch, which is an older movie, Across the Universe. If you love the Beatles music, watch those two movies, and it'll enrich your life. It's the most two beautiful, beautiful movies.
Sounds good.
Yep, and have a beautiful life, Olivia. And we'll talk soon again. And please stay in touch.
Thank you. I will.
And everybody be fantastic. Do the right thing. Love thy neighbor. And love. Make it your business.
Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia.
All right.
Be fantastic, everybody. Bye-bye.
I will. Bye.